Happy Saturday, co-creators, and welcome to another edition of Teena Sessions, 365 inspirational quotes with me, your life coach, Teena Jones. How is everyone doing on day number 21? Whew, man, we made it. I tell you, this year is just going by, and I'm so glad you chose to spend this time with me, whether you're new or you're one of my loyal viewers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for carving this time out to get your inspirational vitamin to get you through the day. All right. If you are new, let me give you my email address just in case you have any questions. I do have coaching prices, and if you need me for personal issues that you're going through, you can always email me at naturalborncoach@hotmail.com. All right. Get your pen and pads out because I've got some really good stuff for you. You know, we're going to be talking about love. And that is such a big topic that I've divided it up in 2 days. So part one, which is today, is going to be about single people. We're going to talk about being single right now and the role that you are to play while you are single. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about relationships. So if you're in a relationship, part two is for you. But even if you're in a relationship and you're listening today, you're going to get a lot out of today. So stay tuned. All right, here we go. Today's quote is, if you don't make peace with your past, it will keep showing up in your present. Oof. If you don't make peace with your past, it's going to keep showing up in your present. There's a saying that goes, you're either in a relationship or God is preparing you for one. So since I'm talking to the people that are single, God is preparing you for a relationship. Now, what does that entail? What does that mean? Well, oftentimes I was single. I was married very early in my life, at 20 years old, and was divorced at 34. And I remained single for about 8 years. 8 years. And I loved every moment of it. I loved it when I was married, and I loved when I was single. I really did. I learned a lot about me. I dated, and if you are dating, that is wonderful playing ground to learn what's inside of you. Okay? Remember, in previous sessions, I've talked about people come into our lives to show us what's inside of us. Well, that's even more so in a relationship. Relationships can be for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And if you've been having season and reason relationships and you want a lifetime relationship, then you've got to pass those tests. That's it. You've got to pass the tests that you need to pass so you can get your lifetime soulmate relationship. You may be asking, what do you mean? Well, the people that you attract into your life, you guys have something in common. Law of attraction has brought you two together. And so the thing to do, this is what I used to do when I was single. Whenever I met someone and I became very judgmental, I immediately went inside of myself. And I began to develop, why do I have such strong judgment about that person? Or if I had a strong emotion or reaction to something that they did or said. Okay. Now, this is a whole new idea of learning about love. And oftentimes we've been taught as women that we don't say the word audition, but that's what it is. We start auditioning men for the role to be our man. And that's the first mistake. Because everyone is human, including you, which means no one wants to be under a microscope. No one wants to be picked apart. And so when you're doing the work on yourself, you're learning to be vulnerable, which is something most of us are afraid to do. At some point, you have to remove the mask. And the mask is the things that we don't want people to know, especially close, intimate partners to know about us. Our weaknesses, things that we may be ashamed about, things that stem from the past. Okay? So when I say when you're single and God is preparing you for a relationship, that's what I mean. getting rid of all the things that's blocking you from your soulmate. That's the work. And that work can be messy. That work can be uncomfortable. Because if you are accustomed to blaming and lashing out because someone doesn't do what you think they should do, then this is for you. Because each time a person disappoints you or don't do exactly the way you think they should do, then that's some work that you need to do on yourself. The prayer I used to pray was, "Dear God, show me all the unhealed places inside of me that's keeping love away." And that's what I encourage each and every one of you to do. And when you pray that prayer, you better be ready. It's not what you think. Oftentimes, being single, I've heard many women pray, "God, just send me a good man. Send me a man with this, that, and that, and this and that." We have this laundry list of things. But we ourselves are not prepared for that person. We have a lot of things inside of us that has not been healed. They're old wounds that were put there a long time ago. And so that is your work. Your work is, you may meet someone just for a season, meaning a short period of time. But if you use it right, that person can be the bouncing off part to help you get your soulmate. You see, everybody that you meet on this journey is not meant to be forever and ever, amen. They're just meant to show you what's inside of you. And once that lesson is learned, then you can move on. But that's the lesson. Because if you don't, let me say this, if you do not adhere to working on your inner demons and your unhealed places, you're going to keep attracting the same old. And you're going to really blame the people, the men. Men are all this. Men are all that. No, sweetie, it's you. You are the common denominator in this equation. And so if you keep getting the same pattern of man, there's something in you. Watch what I'm telling you. There's something in you that wants that, that needs that. And so instead of lashing out, go within and look for the lesson. Oftentimes as women, we date our dad, whether he was in our lives or not. If we grew up without a father, then we seem to attract men that have commitment issues and we have abandonment issues. If we grew up with a father, we either marry someone just like that or we get the opposite. It's an intentional thing. Like, you'll say, "Oh, okay, my dad was such a great person. I want someone just like that." Or, you might didn't think he was a great person, but he has an influence on you either way. That's my point. And so a lot of these things are daddy issues that we as women have to be willing to look at. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We have to be willing to pull out that past. Pull it out when we were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And work that thing. Work those emotions. Let's deal with these issues. Because we can't put that on someone else. We can't show up wounded and think we're going to attract a unwounded person. Our wounded selves is going to attract another wounded self. You see? Two incomplete people, that's not heaven. That's hell on earth. Because you're going to fight and you're going to bicker and it's going to be counterproductive. You see? So that's why it's so important that if you have been in a relationship and then you come out of one, that you don't immediately get yourself back into one. You've got to do the work on yourself. You owe it to yourself to do the work on yourself. It's just that simple. And the best way to do that is to look at some of your past relationships. And remember, I always say, take ownership. Take ownership of your last, just think of your last relationship. Let's just do that. And if I ask you, why did it break up? And what was your responsibility? What was your role? Was it 5%, 10%, 50%. You had some ownership in the reason why it broke up. That's what I want you to own up to. Your ego mind is going to want to focus on all the things he did wrong. And if all my male viewers, all the things she did wrong. But this is not about right or wrong. This is about how in the world did I attract this being to me? What did I need that this person fed me? And looking at that thing. That is the kind of work you've got to be committed to do if you want to heal. It's just that simple. We've got to get to a point to where if you want your soulmate, you've got to be soulmate ready. A lot of you are not soulmate ready. Now, when I was single, and I told you I love being single, that is the truth. You can ask any of my friends. I loved every moment of it. When I was married, I loved being married. Whatever the status was at that time, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I'm not single anymore. And I love being in a relationship. I love having a fiance. I love that. But when I was single, I did. And I didn't seem like something was missing. You see, when you're not in a relationship, you seem to forget that it takes work. It takes a lot of work. Your ego kind of glorifies a relationship when you're single. You know, you look at all the people on Facebook and you go, oh, you start praying, God. And you forget, you have a moment of lapse in your memory that relationships take work and they're not always good. It's not always attractive. Your mate is not always sexy and beautiful and wonderful. And the relationship is not always roses. Sometimes it's thorns. You see? And so don't allow your ego to glorify something that you think you're missing. Don't do that. Take this time to love yourself, nurture yourself, and heal yourself. That is my message to you. And the only way you can do that is to hit your knees and pray the prayer that I told you about earlier. God, show me what's inside of me that's keeping me from my soulmate, that's keeping me from love. All the blocks, that's what I want to work on. All the blocks that are inside of me that's keeping love away, help me. And watch what will happen. God will bring people in your life to bring all those things to surface. But the thing to do, remember what I told you, is to not lash out. Don't do your same old. When you get with a person and then you want to blame them. When you see that rage, that anger, that neurosis come up inside of you, deal with it. Go right then and go, oh God, this is it. See how angry I am? This is what I'm saying. And don't say he makes me like this. No, darling. That button was there long before he arrived. Deal with that button. Eliminate that button so nobody can push it. But it's up to you to heal it. All right? Oh my God. You know I can talk another 10 minutes on this or another 20 minutes, but I'm gonna roll this thing up. And I may even talk more about, I may make this thing a 3 series. Okay, we'll see. But I'm gonna give you your affirmation and remember those 3 things that I told you. You gotta nurture yourself, love yourself, heal yourself. Those 3 things are very important when you are single. And love being single. Stop being in a hurry. Because right now, if you are emotionally handicapped, you're going to attract another emotionally handicapped individual. And you don't want to do that. It's important that you do the work on yourself. That you become complete within yourself so that you can attract another complete person. All right? Ooh, this was good. This was really good. This was really good. Oh my God. Let me give you the affirmation. I deserve love and I get it in abundance. Thank you guys so very much. You know how much I appreciate, adore each and every one of you. Thank you. Have a happy Saturday evening, and I will see you for day 22 on tomorrow. Relationship, love, talk 2 tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye-bye.